Hey Brian, love what you do. Thank you, Landon. I'm left-handed and I'm having trouble finding a good notebook with paper that isn't super ink resistant, but also not super absorbent. I suffer from ink smearing, as you'd guess, but like 90-gram cotton paper, is there an alternative? Yes, so I can really only speak to the paper that I have. There's probably a lot of other options. You know, I tend to move more towards the very ink resistant papers because that's what works best with fountain pen inks. As soon as you get away from the really ink resistant ones, then brands and all kind of stuff, there's so many options out there for just in general for notebooks and all that, because you get into just kind of any notebook can make kind of a middle of the road paper in terms of absorbency. It's a lot harder to make a really nice paper, and that becomes much more kind of a premium product that a boutique seller like myself would be more inclined to carry. The Rhodias, the Clairefontaines, the Goulet, you know, all that kind of stuff. So when you get away from those, it becomes a lot more muddy. So I have a lot of notebooks that are leaning more towards the ink resistant side, but aren't absorbent, really. They're not quite Rhodia Clairefontaine. So I would say try the Filofax notebooks that we recently picked up. Those are good, a little more absorbent. Leuchtturm as well is kind of in that range. Apica, Midori, and Banditapple. All of those are pretty ink resistant, not as much as Rhodia Clairefontaine. There are definitely going to be a lot of options in terms of format and line ruling and color and stuff like that within those. Most of these are bound notebooks we're talking about here. So not quite as many options as you'd have within especially Clairefontaine, but check those ones out. And then also we have a paper sampler, a notebook sampler. It's not sheets of paper, but it's actually whole notebooks, so it's not super cheap, but a lot of the notebooks that I just named are in that sampler, so if you didn't want to go hunting and pecking around for all different formats and stuff, you could get that sampler. We take basically the smallest and least expensive option of notebook in all of these brands and put them in that sampler to make it easier for you to test out which you might like. So hopefully that helps you out.